My kids feel the most loved whenever I do stop and I spend time with them. That is what I want. By the time that they go to bed at night, I want them to feel loved, and I want them to feel loved in the way that they need to feel loved. One of my favorite things to do is drop all the housework, stop, and spend time with my kids. It doesn't get to happen very often though, or as often as I would like, because there's a lot of other stuff that has to get done around the house. I have cleaning to do, there's cooking to do, there's bills to pay, schedules to make. But my kids feel the most loved whenever I do stop and I spend time with them. That is what I want. By the time that they go to bed at night, I want them to feel loved, and I want them to feel loved in the way that they need to feel loved. There have been times that I've given the guilt trip. I've been like, I've done all this work all day long for you. I'm just serving you all day long. You should feel loved. And they might know that they're loved because I tell them so, but it doesn't make them feel that way. So the more that I tell them that they're loved and I keep working really hard to show them that, and they're off doing their own thing and wanting to spend time with me, but I don't have time to do it, we just get in a bad cycle. My attitude gets bad, their attitudes get bad, and it just isn't very pretty. And I'm afraid if I'm stuck in this cycle for too long, I'm gonna lose their hearts. That is the part that really scares me and really makes me sad to think about, because I want them to feel loved and I want to spend that time with them, but something has to change. Before I share with you how I have tried to get out of this cycle, I want to introduce you to Shirley over at Home and Arrows. She is a homeschooling mom of 5, and she is also answering this question today of how do we be with our kids versus just being around our kids. So go check out her channel. I think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love her, and go see what she says in her video today. As I think about this cycle of me getting in a bad attitude doing all the work, the kids getting in a bad attitude wanting to spend time with me, I just want to break that cycle so bad. And today, as I was thinking about it, the story that's in the first 3 Gospels of the Bible that kept coming to mind was when Jesus was with his disciples and all these parents were bringing their babies and children to Jesus. And the disciples' first reaction was to rebuke them. Like, how dare you think that your children are important enough to come and disrupt whatever Jesus has to do for his day? And I think that sometimes I feel that way. Like, there's so many things on my to-do list that need to get done, and those things, not the people, become more important to me at times, and that has to stop. When Jesus saw that the disciples were turning these children away, Jesus said, no, bring them to me. He wanted the children, and he blessed the children, and he told them that receiving the children was like receiving the kingdom of God. And that just totally was like, oh, wow, the way that I receive my kids, that is showing me, like, speaks to me of like, do I receive God's kingdom? Do I want the things that God wants more than the things that I want? Do I want to spend time with my kids more than doing all these chores that are just gonna have to be done again in like an hour? Thinking of that just made me think of the way that I'm receiving my kids is teaching my kids how they should receive the kingdom. And am I teaching them good things with that, or am I not?
It's good.
When I feel like I am getting stuck in this rut of this cycle of me doing most of the housework all by myself and the kids going off playing, wanting to spend time with me, and we're both getting bad attitudes because we both want to spend time together, but we're just not helping each other do that, I like to sit my kids down and just talk to them, because sometimes they have some really good insight on how something can change, and it also gives them some ownership about what they've been doing as well. And so I just sat them down and said, hey, I would love to spend time with you. I would love to be able to have time to just play games or read books and just enjoy time together. But there's all these things that need to get done around the house, like feeding our family 3 times a day. And if I do it all by myself, I don't have time to spend with you guys. So I could really use your help doing different things. And so that's whenever we start coming up with like, who can help me this, or like chore charts come in handy with stuff like this when you're getting stuck in a rut. And as I talk to our kids about this, they get really excited. Like, Mom wants to spend time with me. Sure, I'll help you out. Like, I'll help you do the chores so you can come and play a game with me or go read me a book or something. And then that makes me in a better mood. They get excited because they know that they're gonna get to spend time with Mom. And then that's where my part of staying faithful and upholding my part of the deal comes in. I have to make sure I'm stopping and making time for them, because if I think about it, there is always something that I could come up with that needs my attention, and that's just so easy to turn to. That's my first reaction of like, just like, no, like the house is more important. It's not what I would say. If someone were to ask me if my house was more important or my kids were more important, hands down I would say my kids are. But my actions don't always show that. And that's where I get stuck, because even though I want to spend time with my kids, I'll do what I don't want to do, which is cleaning the house, instead of what I want to do. And that's just such an easy thing to get into. And it has to be something that I have to actually think about and pray about and ask for God to guide me in that and give me the desires that He has, which would be to be with my children and not be with my house. Something that I think of whenever trying to figure out how am I gonna make time to do each of these things, I like to involve the kids with the chores. There is, yeah, we're doing housework and we're getting things done that need to get done, but we can totally hang out. We can talk while we're folding towels and sheets together. We can definitely hang out whenever we're cooking in the kitchen. That's one of my favorite places to spend time with anybody, is cooking in the kitchen and working side by side creating something. It's just so much fun to create things, especially for the kids. Whenever they get to create something that the whole family gets to eat later on, they get really excited about that. It's actually kind of hard for me to keep the kids out of the kitchen. I do enjoy working in the kitchen by myself every once in a while. It can be peaceful whenever I need it, but there's always somebody that's wanting to come in and help. And so I've tried to train myself to be able to include them in that as well. So they can join me with chores. We can spend time together doing that instead of just being around each other. I feel like doing chores together is actually being with each other. But then there are times where it's fun to just put the chores aside, put the work aside, and spend time just having fun. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You don't have to have any prep work for it. My favorite thing is just to stop what I'm doing, see what my kids are doing, and go and join them. Join in with their imaginative play, go sit down and read books with them, start coloring with them. Whatever they're doing, just join them in that. And it doesn't take any setup or anything. It doesn't take any thought process of what are we gonna do. It's just, what are they doing? Stop what I'm doing and just go be with them. Simple as that. And with my older kids, I love to just be like, hey, so-and-so, go get a deck of cards. Let's come play a game. And that's a very simple, like, doesn't take much setup at all. And we can just stop what we're doing. It's not like a giant board game. We love doing board games, but we save those for the weekends because they take a little bit more time and aren't as flexible and having to keep little ones out of the way. But with a simple card game, I feel like that's a lot more easy to just whip out, and we can protect that game and keep the cards from going everywhere from a little one, a little bit easier than a board game. I think spending time with your kids can look all different ways, and it looks different for each family, and it looks different for each kid. And I think one thing that I just have to focus on is just being intentional about that, being intentional of stopping what I'm doing and actually be with them, because I'm in the house all day long with them. We're always around each other, but it's very easy to go through a whole day and be in the same room, be in the same house as somebody else, and not actually building into that relationship that you have with them. So that's something that I have to practice on and be intentional about, and just ask the Lord to reveal who needs more attention right now, and how can I give them that love that they need in the way that they want to be loved and they need to be loved, not me just saying, but I cleaned the kitchen counters for you today. Don't you feel loved because of that? No, not really. Thanks though. So if you have been thinking now, like, that's great that your kids will help you with chores, or that they're actually capable of doing that, but wondering how to get to that point, I would love for you to come back next week, and I'm gonna share with you how we started our training with our kids and how we introduce a new chore or a new skill and involve kids a little bit more around the house and what that kind of looks like. I actually am bringing you along with teaching some of our kids a brand new skill for the first time and what that looks like. So make sure you are subscribed to Reclaiming Motherhood and you have that bell icon clicked so you don't miss the video when it goes live, and learn how to be present with your kids while being productive at the same time.